Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for having me today. So I'm going to be explaining how we at the University of Sunderland in London have increased the use of technology in teaching and learning through a digital skills program called Achieve Starter Legend. So first, a little bit about me. So my name's Caroline Bearpark. I'm currently an e-learning coordinator in the digital learning team at the University of Sunderland in London. So that means I'm based at our London campus. I've been working in the education sector since I entered postgraduate employment in 2017, and I moved into digital learning in 2019 before transitioning into higher education when I started my current role. So my specialism within the team is academic development and learning design, which means I spend a lot of my time focusing on the development of digital skills of our academics and designing learning to achieve this. And that's why I'm responsible for the program that I'll be talking about today. So just a quick overview of what I'll be presenting about today. So I'll start by explaining what the program is. I'll provide a bit of context and go through the aims of the program. Then I'll walk you through the different variations of the program that we've offered and how we've revised it based on participant feedback. I'll also present some key figures, which will provide an overview of the effectiveness of the program. And to finish, I'll go through some of the key takeaways and what our next steps are. So, Achieve Starter Legend is a program that was designed to support academic staff to develop, practice, and consolidate the digital skills required for the use of technology in teaching and learning. It was created as a response to the findings of a digital skills needs analysis conducted at the university, and this was done shortly before I joined. The survey found that whilst the majority of our academic staff were confident using basic online communication tools and our VLE, which is Canvas, they lacked confidence in utilizing the more advanced technical features for teaching and learning. There was low confidence around using SharePoint, statistical software, survey skills, and storyboarding, to name a few. As a result, the training needs were identified for advanced digital skills relating to the VLE and designing learning. So, for example, using instructional design principles. In order to address this, the team decided to consolidate all of the training that we felt they need into one 12-week program. And the aim was for the program to be as hands-on and collaborative as possible. So staff had the opportunity to practice the digital skills that they were lacking. It was a blended program. I mean, it still is a blended program, and it consists of weekly online workshops and asynchronous learning. To begin with, the total time commitment per week was roughly 4 hours. The survey also coincided with the introduction of an internal policy that set out the minimum expectations required to maintain a good standard of learning on our VLE. Therefore, the aim was also for participants to be meeting the essential practice of this policy upon finishing the program. So, the first iteration of the program was run by my colleague in 2021. She then handed it over to me. So since September 2021, I've been looking after the program. And so far, there have been 6 iterations, with another due to actually start next week. And although the going to be at the party, how do I handle that? Continue. Although the content has generally remained the same, it has been revised from cohort to cohort based on participant feedback and also new research and learning undertaken by the digital learning team. So as I mentioned, the program is blended, consisting of workshops that participants attend online, and then there's online content for them to consume independently. So the workshop usually focuses on the how, whereas the content online tends to focus on the why. The feedback has been consistently about the time commitment. Academics have really struggled with the amount of time we've expected them to commit to this program. And therefore, with each iteration, we have tried to cut this down, which has meant condensing and omitting content where needed. It has gone from being an 11-week program to an 8-week program. So 11 weeks was daunting for many of the academic staff, and they simply just didn't have that time to commit to it. And since we've started reducing it, we have seen increased commitment and more successful results. So each week, the participants will attend a workshop. The workshop's usually between 60 and 90 minutes long. And during these, I will show them how to use a particular digital tool or apply a particular pedagogical strategy related to using a digital tool. They will then have the opportunity to practice this with my support. I did, for one cohort, cut down the weekly workshops to every other week, still including some supplementary workshops in between that participants could choose to attend. I did this to try and obviously reduce the level of commitment needed. However, to my surprise, this was actually not welcomed, and the participant feedback from that particular cohort stressed the importance of these weekly workshops in staying focused on the program. So instead, I turned my attention to the online content, and with the most recent cohort, I did manage to cut down the time required for independent studying to 2 hours. How I did this was by omitting content based on the feedback from participants and condensing the content we did have. The focus became on the tools academics must use, and then they had the opportunity to learn about different tools through further reading. I did also look for different ways for academic staff to be able to access the content I was omitting outside of the program. Things like online micro-learnings and short courses were created so that the staff could still access the learning no longer included in the program. There is also an assignment that participants complete each week, and this assignment requires them to use a digital tool for teaching and learning. Ideally, we want them to improve a particular module that they teach on. So it's encouraged that they complete the assignment by putting into practice what they've learned in a real-life situation. They then submit evidence of this, and they are graded on a rubric of Star to Legend, hence the name, Achieve Star to Legend. The rubric directly correlates to our internal policy regarding the standard of learning on Canvas. So participants achieving STAR would be meeting the essential practice as per the policy. Participants achieving Legend would be meeting the exemplary practice. So a little bit about the program content. So the content in the program covers using the tools in the university's VLE Canvas extensively. Participants also learn how to create content and use tools such as discussions and announcements. There is also an extensive focus on the design of online learning. So we teach about instructional design, how they can use it to plan, design, and create their modules. And then they will also learn about the analytics tools that they can use to review their teaching and learning. There is a focus on other tools and strategies, such as Panopto for creating video content, gamification and game-based learning, and LinkedIn Learning. They also learn about accessibility and the tools that they can use to make sure that they're meeting this. A wide range of digital tools are covered, as we want academics to be able to select the tools that are appropriate for their teaching. The aim isn't for everyone to be using the same tools, obviously excluding Canvas, which everyone does have to use, but to know how to use a wide range of digital tools and select the appropriate one. So, in terms of engagement, there have been, well, at least especially with the first iteration, there was a lack of engagement in terms of actually once academics had joined the program. There was strong interest and we had a huge number of sign-ups, but we just weren't seeing that many complete the program. So, for example, in 21-22, we had 86 sign-ups across 4 iterations of the program, but just under half, so 41, completed the program. Since the sign-ups have decreased, we expected this. Obviously, everybody jumped on it straight away. We haven't lost that many staff, so it was expected. And in 22-23, we were seeing far less sign-ups, but we were still seeing only about half of the sign-ups completing the program. In order to address this, we decided to introduce tutors to the program. So every participant is now assigned a tutor, someone from the digital learning team, whilst they complete the program, who they can reach out to for support with their assignments as well as general guidance. Since the introduction of tutors, we have seen a huge increase in the number of participants completing the program. For the first cohort of 23-24, 71% of participants completed the program. And even more impressively, no participant who completed the program achieved a grade lower than champion. So far, 74 academic staff members have completed the program. This is about half of our academic staff, although it is worth noting that this figure does include some who are no longer at the university. So realistically, it is probably slightly less than half of our academic staff who've completed the program so far. So, since the introduction of the program, we have seen a huge increase in the number of academic staff using digital tools in their teaching and learning. It has to be said, this is mostly based on anecdotes and the team's experience working with the academic staff, but we've definitely noticed that academic staff are less afraid to come to us and ask for support with using digital tools. More importantly, we've noticed a significant improvement in the quality of the modules on our VLE. So we found that Achieve participants' modules have improved by 16% when assessed against our internal policy. We also found that academic staff who've completed Achieve tend to have a better quality of modules than those who have not. So when assessed against our internal policy, we found that they perform above average and that their modules on average score 4% higher than those who have not completed the program. This suggests that academic staff who complete Achieve have the digital skills to ensure that their modules are of a high quality, and they also have that confidence to use these skills to improve the student learning experience. So, in terms of key takeaways and next steps, so there is obviously still work to be done regarding the digital skills of our academic staff. Whilst online modules have improved significantly since the introduction of the program, we still don't see the use of digital tools in the classroom to increase engagement and interactivity that extensively. So we still need to be encouraging and empowering our academic staff to use these digital tools in their classrooms. And based on this, the program will be refocusing. So the next iteration of the program, due to start next week, will move away from online teaching and learning to a more classroom-based approach. So in terms of the content, it's been restructured, and it will be based around universal design for learning principles. My aim will be to show participants the digital tools that they can use to design effective learning for both online, but also especially in the classroom. We are also running another survey to assess the digital skills needs of our academics now. And obviously the results of this survey will influence my decision with regards to content for the program. So, for example, I suspect most academic staff are now very confident when it comes to using Canvas. So we could cut down drastically on content related to Canvas and introduce content on new digital tools or skills that academic staff would like to acquire. So I think it will be really interesting to actually find out from them what they want to learn about, what tools they want to be using, and whether we can support them in doing that. Okay, so that is my presentation. I think I've left quite a lot of time for questions.